Hi guys, welcome back. So let's talk about bolters, a player that comes from nowhere to get in a squad, in this case a World Cup squad, someone who's young, maybe with talent, maybe unproven, who could make a difference. Now England have got a lot of positions that are not nailed down, so I think there will be some bolters in their squad, but also I think they need some bolters if they're going to beat the likes of this guy here, Finn Russell. This is an amazing picture made by Blair Skivington, sent to me. I'm not a commission, I just absolutely love it. If you like this sort of stuff, please do go and check him out. I've got his link up on the screen and in the description. He does commissions as well, absolutely amazing stuff. We've been talking and I think we've got something a bit special for you coming for the World Cup. But if England are going to beat a player like Finn Russell, they need something special. They need something a bit extra. So I've thought about it so much, I've come up with an England bolter 15. And I want you guys to tell me which of these players you might take a chance on and which are just not going to be good enough, unfortunately. So let's get into it. At loosehead, I have gone for Finn Baxter. 21 years old, 6 foot odd, 18 stones. He's going to be a great player. In fact, I think he's going to be an international after the World Cup. But is he good enough before the World Cup? Sure, we've got Ellis Genge as the first choice, who interestingly has just got a ban, but luckily for Borthwick will be back for the World Cup warm-ups. Actually could be quite rested, so ironically could actually help out. But who's his backup? Mako Vunipola, is he really going to cut it against the world's best? Do you go for a player like Finn Baxter, maybe in the mix, just a little bit different, a natural ball handler, a big guy, he's going to be great, but is he good enough now? At hooker, I think Borthwick will take the experience of Jamie George. I think he'll take Cowan Dickey, but that third spot is up for a shout, and I think it's prime for a bolter. And I think you know the man I'm going to say. Harry Thacker is playing the rugby of his life, 29 years old, in his prime for a hooker. A very different hooker, incredibly explosive, very quick. Another natural ball player, would be a great change up, maybe off the bench. I think as a third choice hooker, he would be a great bolter in the squad. Now at Tighthead, I think England need a scrummaging bolter. Someone a bit older, someone who could come in and shore up that scrum. I was thinking maybe Will Collier from Harlequins, but I think I'm going to go for Trevor Davison. He's 30 years old, a big lad, 122 kilos, just moved from Newcastle to Northampton. In his prime, great scrummager and can play both sides of the scrum, which in a World Cup squad, now maybe he is the guy to come in as that third choice Tighthead who could also cover loosehead. Into the second row, and I think this is another light position where a bolter could well come into the squad. Could it be Joe Launchbury, returning from Japan? Well, actually he's available now because it was a special circumstance that he left Wasps. He has signed for Harlequins anyway, but you'll get a big lump, very experienced, a bolter you could actually start very easily. The other second row bolter is George Martin, the Leicester player that Borthwick knows so well. I think he likes him. He plays blindside as well as a lot of young second rows do. 6'6", he's definitely tall enough to be a second row internationally. Could he be a replacement for maybe Ollie Chesham if he doesn't recover from his ankle injury? Could George Martin replace him in the squad as a bit of a bolter? And maybe you can actually argue that Courtney Laws could be a bolter. If he's moved into the second row, he's definitely going to be in the squad though. Anyway, George Martin and Joe Launchbury, my second row bolters. Into the back row, and at 6 I could have gone for maybe Ted Hill or Kenningham of Harlequins, but I want Tom Pearson in a back row, and I think he could play 6. He's definitely big enough, he's good at 7 as well, but he's a player I think England really need to take a chance on. I think he's got everything. He's a massive lump, he scores tries for fun. I think he's well suited to the international game, so he is a good bolter to go for. The other bolter is a guy that's been an England international, but he's only 26 years old. Sam Underhill has been out of favour, been injured as well. He's back fit again now. Hopefully he can stay fit. But this guy tackles like a train. Like I said, still in his prime at 26. He could be a great player to call into an international squad. At number 8, I think Alex Dombrandt is going. I think Borthwick has made his bed there. Sam Simmons, another favourite to go to the World Cup, especially with Billy Vunipola probably injured for the World Cup. But if you're going to take a chance with a bolter, I think it has to be Zach Mercer. He's a bit smaller, he's a bit more ball handling inclined, but you don't thrive in the top 14 without mixing it with the big boys. It's a bit of a chance, but he could be a bit of a wild card to give you that extra edge. My scrum-half bolter is a player that I wanted in the 2019 World Cup squad ahead of Villy Hines, and that's Ben Spencer. 30 years old, still in his prime I think, playing so consistently for Bath, a good kicker as well, a good leader, He's quick, he's strong, he's got a good kicking game. I think he's a great player. You could slot straight in to start an international, actually. So definitely a bolter, but a player, again, that's ready-made starter for me. At 10, who's the bolter? Well, you could argue George Ford's a bit of a bolter, but he's been in and out of England a lot anyway, so maybe not so much of a bolter. But Finn Smith is the obvious guy, 20 years old. I think he's got a great all-round game, seems to have it all for me. Probably needs a couple more years of time in the Premiership, but if you want to take a chance, Finn Smith's your man. Now, as I go on about, England are very light in the centres, so I'm actually picking two 12s kind of, being a little bit cheeky with this bolter 15. The first guy is Dan Kelly, 21 years old, just got injured before the Six Nations. We might have seen him there. He's powerful, he's quick, he's not massive, but what's really good about him is he can play as a first receiver very, very comfortably, as can my other centre on this list, Max Ajomu. A lot of you guys have been saying he's a great player and should play for England. In the last couple of years, I've said maybe physically he's not quite ready, but I think this season he seems to have stepped up a level physically. Very similar to Kelly, great ball player, very exciting. They're my two wild cards in the centres. And finally in the back three, on one wing, how about Ben Loader? 24 years old now, but I remember reviewing him when he played for the under-20s. I thought he'd play for England. He's a great classic winger, good all-round game, can play fullback, quick, strong, good under the high ball, great finisher, looks to have a real eye of the tiger approach as well. On the other wing, you need a big guy. Could it be Tom Roebuck of Sale? Sure, you've got lots of other players out there, Freeman, Thokanasiga, Ollie Hassel-Collins, even Lewis Liner's back. But Roebuck's been scoring for fun. Is he someone to take a punt on as a big winger? And finally, at 15, a proper bolter is Joe Carpenter of Sale. A breakout player of the season, I think. Hard as nails, not the biggest, but very quick, very, very confident. I love his attitude, scores for fun. I think he'd relish the big stage. Anyway, guys, that's my bolter 15. Who would make it? Who should go? Let me know, and I'll catch you next time.